Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm dear Danny. Should we see what's going on our lovely little island of Fawnhollow today? We'll be going our usual business as we always do. You probably should get a bit more of a unique, interesting start to these sort of intros, but I mean, it's kind of the same old in Animal Crossing, you know. It's a daily life simulator, and what's the defining trait of being a daily life? Daily. And living, I suppose. I don't think this sentence makes any sense, and I'm not even sure if I'm saying anything of any merit. So let's sort of swiftly move on to the sentence Isabel saved me. Hello everyone. Right now in Fawnhollow, 6:04 PM on Sunday, September 5th, 2021. Don't really have any big news, so we'll go about our usual business. You might be like, oh, how was the picnic yesterday? Picnic was very lovely. There was a lot of dogs, because unsurprisingly there was a lot of dog walkers on a big grassy field, I suppose. Reasonably close to civilization. And of course dogs, they love food. So there's a lot of dogs trying to take food from us. Oh, obviously, I'm not saying this in like a bitter way or anything. Hey there, dear. Isn't this postcard pretty? I don't want to cover it up with too much of my writing because I think it's pretty and I should let you see it. That's why I'm only writing a few words and then I'm done. So pretty, Biscuit. I'm not sure if we've had that one before. Maybe we have. Today's Sunday? Today's Sunday, so we don't have any visitors to worry about. But yeah, I mean, dogs are hungry, curious creatures. You might say they're a bit one-track mind, some of them. I suppose that kind of depends on your dog. But yeah, I don't mean in a bitter way. It's to be expected. If we're going to have a picnic on a place our dog walkers frequently go to, that's not what I meant to do. I meant to take a picture. But of course you should kind of expect dogs. A reason for dogs to start coming up to you and trying to take a bite of your food, and then, you know, you just have a... I was going to say altercation with their owner. Probably not an altercation. Perhaps you just have like a little remark back and forth with the owner, where we're like, oh, sorry about that. They really love you, and we're just like, oh, no worries, it happens. Beautiful dog, or something like that, or full of energy, blah 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 blah. And just, you know, generic dog compliments. You know, rather run-of-the-mill sort of things. So a lot of very excited and happy dogs, all willing to take a bite out of delicious food, I suppose. But yeah, we talked about picnics enough yesterday. What should I talk about today? I don't know. What have I been up to today? Played a few games. That's about it. What have I been up to today? I feel like I've done nothing. I would say for some reason my muscles are a little bit tired. I didn't really do much exercise yesterday as well, so I'm surprised that being the case. But I think I slept a bit weirdly. Oh, I haven't really talked about the fact I slept super badly, like in recent days. I'm not sure. I slept kind of weirdly this today, but I can't remember why. I had a dream, but there's this dream I had like oh no, we need to wake you up because we need to give you presents. You're in fact the only one to give you presents, because we have Apollo's thing, but this is for you. If I do have one. Okay, cool. I had a dream I was like in a zombie apocalypse or something, which is, you know, for some people amusingly is a dream scenario. I can't imagine why you'd want a zombie apocalypse rather than, I mean, I can imagine in fiction why you might like it, but in reality it seems a bit of a dangerous preoccupation, shall we say. It's a mild way to put it. That I don't really want. Wow, we have two of the exact same fossil. A zombie apocalypse in real life, because that sounds dangerous, and I honestly don't think I'll be particularly good at surviving in one. Most of my skills tend to not be all that related to physical attributes, which I think tends to be quite a key performer in zombie apocalypses, but we've never had one, so how do we know? It's a fair question, one I don't really have an answer for. What do you think about Raymond over here? Someone calling me for Boo, of course. Think of that little pause right there. What do you want? Oh, you were calling me for Boo, sure. What of our missions are we doing as well? Collecting shells is what I feel like I remember. Rocks and deep sea diving. Oh, right, that can be done. Yeah, I was talking about zombie apocalypse, that's right. Yeah, most of my skills are not particularly physically minded abilities, apart from, you know, I guess I'm kind of flexible compared to the average person, but that's probably not that helpful. You probably want a higher stamina or something, like strength or that sort of thing. I'm not amazingly strong. I'm pretty fast sprinter, I suppose, compared to the average person, but that's again, I don't think it's the average people who probably survive a zombie apocalypse. I'd imagine it's a lot sturdier and hardier people who end up getting that sort of benefit. I suppose a benefit I do have. I think I'm reasonably smart. But the problem is, a lot of my smartness doesn't really come with like practical knowledge. You know, as great it is that perhaps I can learn things quite quickly. I perhaps have quite a logical mindset. It's like, how do I, you know, like wire a car or something? How do I fix a broken down car or a vehicle? How do I start a campfire? I have like vague ideas of how it works, but could I actually put it into practice? Maybe. Like, I guess if you were to do it like an odd-based basis, like I would for probability, I would have better odds than the average person who has the same amount of knowledge as me, I suppose, in those aspects. Maybe, but even that's kind of just like wishful thinking. Like, could I survive out in the wilderness? I mean, it depends where in the wilderness, but I would give myself not great odds. I like wouldn't bet on myself, I suppose. But that's the whole point of zombie apocalypse, is you want to team up with people who can offset your sort of deficits, I suppose is the way to put it. You know, like maybe this person's like, I don't know how to cook, but I'm like really strong and I know how to build a shelter, and I'd be like, awesome. Well, I know how to cook. If we can find some berries, it might be okay. I don't know. I guess in that case, you kind of be like, oh, you know, we find someone who's a farmer who's like, oh, I know how to, you know, raise plants and grains and feed a family or for an entire year on like a plantation site or something, and you know that'd be pretty cool. And you might ask again, what do you bring to the situation, dear? I don't know. I'm gonna have to come back to you on that one, to be perfectly honest. There's not much use for statistical and programming sort of knowledge, I suppose, in the apocalypse, which is fair enough. But you know, I've got a sturdy mind. Perhaps I could be more resistant to the perhaps much more depressing themes that go on in the zombie apocalypse. I'm quite I understand people quite well. I suppose quite empathetical. Perhaps I could be a good sort of morale booster to people. A good balance of logical practicality combined with encouragement and that sort of thing. I don't know. But essentially, have I talked about this before? I feel like I vaguely remember talking about a zombie apocalypse before. I mean, I wouldn't put it past me. But anyway, the zombie apocalypse dream was a bit weird because we were like traveling on a boat or something. I guess I had a vision in the dream, which is kind of weird because that's sort of going like Inception, like 2 layers deep or something within dreams, which I don't really know if things can work like that, but I guess they do. That a zombie apocalypse was coming and we had to sail away, and then we sailed to this island, and I can't really recall what happened because this was like 3 days ago or something. I was meant to talk about it on one of the days, but I forgot about it, so my bad. I guess in that zombie apocalypse it's not too bad because the zombies probably can't swim. In a lot, at least, of fictional media, zombies don't really have that sort of technical dexterity to be able to swim through water, because you know it's a learned skill to be able to swim. Of course, I'm sure there are definitely some sort of apocalyptic media properties where we can. I don't know them off the top of my head. Why is that one where the zombies are actually like really lethal because they're like super fast? Is it World War Z? I'm not sure if it's that one. Don't quote me on it. If you're much more into those sort of survival horror sort of things, you'll probably know. Well, I guess it doesn't have to be zombies. I guess it's just any sort of apocalypse. Trees are earth, hair, and grass. A giant earth beard, which means deserts, other bald spots. Man. Because if you think about it, A Quiet Place don't really have zombies. It's got sound-seeking aliens. I think, yeah, they're aliens, right? Rode a meteor as they came crashing down to, I don't know, Boston, Massachusetts. I don't think that was where they landed, but still. I can't remember what state it was. I guess that thing, actually no, I was going to be like, I wouldn't be too bad in that thing. I could be rather quiet with my presence. No, I actually have like a chronic cough, I suppose, so that's going to be quite difficult for me. Because it'd be like, oh, you know, just walking down and be like every minute or so just me going or something like that, because on my I wish I could tell you like why I have it. I have no idea, which is why I tend to constantly mute myself in these sort of videos, because it's kind of annoying just to hear me just go all the time. I don't like it. No one likes it, especially not me. It's very uncomfortable. A lot of it. Well, I'm not going to say it's very uncomfortable. It's just mildly uncomfortable, I suppose, some of the time. But hey ho, if a doctor doesn't know, I don't know, because I'm not a doctor. But you know, perhaps in future. I don't know. Fossils, DIY projects, zebra turkeyfish is a bit difficult. Catch bugs. I guess we'll do fossils and DIY. I mean, if we see any bugs, we'll catch them. But yet again, it's raining, so don't put your heart. Oh, don't set your heart on it. I was trying to think of what the phrase was. I was like, don't put your heart on the set. And I was like, that doesn't sound right. Yeah, I guess it kind of depends against what sort of enemies you're fighting, right? I feel like I could be okay in a quiet place sort of scenario. Now, here's a question: would I be better in a quiet place or The Walking Dead? By the way, my entire knowledge of Walking Dead is based off a video game, not the actual TV nor book series. So forgive me for any of my misconceptions, but I feel like Walking Dead seems to have a rather typical portrayal of zombies. They're like, they're not just mindlessly. They're not like super dumb, but they're not super smart either. They're just sort of like slightly smarter pack animal, I suppose. Or they wonder about that sort of thing. Honestly, I give myself better odds. No, I don't know. Walking Dead, Quiet Place. Because the thing you got to remember about Quiet Place is because you deal with a lot less, I suppose, antagonistic people. Well, in theory, I think, because it's quite hard to be antagonistic. I think in a thing where if you make any sound, you die. Because if you, I don't know, I guess if you want to rob someone, you're meant to be quiet in the first place. But as soon as you make a noise, you're a goner, I suppose, as well. And the person you're robbing will probably survive as long as they manage to keep quiet. What else? Like, I'm not sure if I can really properly articulate why I feel like it's because, you know, like in zombie apocalypse, this is a really typical thing. There's always like rebels and like, not rebels, that's not really the right word. I mean more like gangs, I suppose, vigilantes trying to do their things. Like there's always bad guys, quote quote, in the apocalypse who are meant to be like opposing to the heroes, sort of like bandits. That's probably a better word, bandits. I feel like perhaps it was just because they weren't really portrayed in A Quiet Place. I feel like they're a lot less common. Why is your masked wrestler like backwards? Okay, you two clearly having a moment. I won't rain on your parade. I can't remember that many. Were there any like evil people in A Quiet Place apart from the monsters? The only one I can think of is that old guy whose wife died or whatever, and he just started screaming because he was giving up on life or something. But it's not like evil, I suppose. But there's not like bandits and looters about the place like there are in zombie apocalypse movies, where I suppose perhaps it's a bit easier to organise that sort of thing, because I suppose it's because the restriction you have in A Quiet Place universe is so much more harsh than a zombie apocalypse on. Zombie apocalypse on is like, okay, if you unfortunately kick the bucket, I suppose you get turned into a zombie. If you get bitten, that happens as well. So it's only through physical confrontation. Or in Quiet Place, it's like you cannot make a sound louder than like, I don't know, 20 decibels or something. And you might be at risk if you have anything above 10 decibels, which is just a very crazy high requirement, I suppose. So I'd guess if any bandits would survive, it'd have to be very organised bandits. And very silent, I suppose. But I don't know, maybe that's sort of like a, I'll not say false dichotomy, that's not the word I wanted. False assumption? I might be assuming too many things there, which is possible. But anyway, I feel like perhaps I would do better in A Quiet Place. Because perhaps, I guess that's sort of just me being like, compared to the average person, I'd rate my odds higher in harsher scenarios. Which I'm not sure if that's particularly true. I suppose it depends on the scenario. Because I think probably what happens to it is, with zombie apocalypses, you can sort of brute force your way out of things. Like if you make a mistake, you accidentally attract some zombies. If you're good enough at fighting and good enough with a gun, you can probably get out of it. Or good enough with any weapon, I suppose. You can get out of it. Well, with A Quiet Place, if you make a mistake, you're kind of gone. You're kind of done for, right? The best prevention, the best medication in A Quiet Place is prevention. While in a zombie apocalypse is, I suppose, dynamic action. and I'm quite a cautious person. Apparently Audie's visit was cut short. I'm sorry, and I feel like I ruined it between you and Ren. I'm quite a cautious person. I feel like I'd be rather quite preventative. I take very preventative measures when it comes to being quiet. I'd always like double check I'm being very careful, constantly reminding myself to be quiet and like breathe softly. Don't ever yell. I mean, I don't yell in the first place, so that's quite an easy one. I mean, I guess if I do survive with my sort of cough or any sort of body noises, I'd probably just like have like a hanky or like a muffled rag which I could like cough into, and it would like muffle most of my noises and that sort of thing. But no, I feel like at that point it becomes a lot more luck based. Because like, what if you were just like drinking some water and you just like accidentally like choked on your own spit or something? You're probably dead in there. What? Oh, you're itchy. I was like, what the heck did you just say? Sack of bones? Take out Apollo. But in the... I don't know. I guess it's easier to coordinate things in Walking Dead. Actually, that's not true, because in, what's it called? A Quiet Place, sorry, Quiet Place 2 spoilers if you haven't seen it yet. But you've probably seen it by now. I think it's out of cinema. If it's not, whoops. We need to catch more bugs. They do have that sort of civilization across the water, right? Oh yeah, there were bandits in A Quiet Place. In A Quiet Place 2, the people by the boat. I forgot about that. Okay, maybe I wouldn't do very well. Buying an upright locker. Oh, thank you, Lily. Okay, maybe I wouldn't do very good in A Quiet Place then. There are bandits there as well. Always surprised me there were bandits, because there's like, how many... Because it's just the sort of thing where I feel like there's basically no one left really alive in A Quiet Place. It's considerably more sparse. You two talking? I thought you two were talking to each other. Like, you don't need to loot other people's stuff. You could just, like, loot the supermarkets. You're probably only sharing it with, like, one other family. There's not many people. And plus there's a lot of shops out there in the first place. But, I don't know, I mean, perhaps that's just... The sadistic humans still exist out there who take pleasure in sort of banditry and other things that they're partaking in. Which, like, I mean, there's not really much you can do about that, I suppose, except for avoid them. But they managed to find their own sort of civilization across the water because those alien creatures couldn't swim. And it was going perfectly fine until those alien creatures rode a boat over the water, which is mildly unexpected, one might say. Not something that isn't rather planned, and if anything was, I suppose, an accident by the protagonist. I can't remember his name. He has a name, I don't remember it. Names are always harder to remember in a movie where they can't really speak, I suppose. What other sort of apocalypses are there? I don't know, there's a Homestuck apocalypse, but that feels a bit different. I suppose it's a bit more geared towards people who can play video games, because it's based around a video game. So if for some reason the apocalypse is video game based, I fancy my odds. So if you take, let's just sell these. We only need like 2 fossils. Storage is full. Excuse you. Maybe your storage is full, huh? Bet you didn't see that coming. Neither did I. Let's just... I want to see if we've got an earth-boring beetle. Oh, we do. So we don't need to store it. There's so many of these creatures still. Flick can't come nearly often enough. Let's clear out some fashion items, I guess. Because, like, what else are we going to do? We honestly could just sell everything we had if we really wanted to. It's not like it's a particularly big deal. And get rid of some of these. Get rid of this. Yeah, I mean, my Homestuck one's kind of very much geared towards people who play video games, so that's like, I suppose on the easier side of things. We don't need 2 label coats. Okay, never mind. Apparently we do need 2 label coats. There's something else I wanted to store. Upright locker, that was it. So I fancied my odds there. But that one only, like, 12 people survive anyway, depending on how many people you play with. Plus, Homestuck's a bit ambiguous anyway. It's not really like a popular form of media. But, what about like a Fallout sort of situation? Nuclear wastelands. And, well, nuclear fallout, I suppose. I don't know, that seems a lot harder. Personally. Like, I feel like a lot of these sort of apocalypses, unsurprisingly, are pretty difficult for the average person to really survive in. I guess that's kind of a point, isn't it? It's not really like average people who survive these sort of extreme scenarios. It tends to be not the extreme people, but people who can survive these extreme scenarios in the first place. The apocalypse doomsday preppers, that sort of thing. The people who've been waiting for this their entire life. You know, I'm not gonna say that. Well, I suppose they'd probably have a higher chance of surviving apocalypse. Part of me was just like, I wanted to be like, oh, what? Why haven't we done like an experiment to see if we please just. Why do you sometimes you have to have dialogue options to exit out and sometimes you don't in different things in this game? I was gonna be like, why hasn't there been like a sound experiment to see if apocalypse and doomsday preppers are. Okay, let's see, 500, 308, 3000. Okay, we need to buy 3 more of these? 2 more? 2 more of these. If doomsday preppers were the best, I suppose, prepared for actually surviving an apocalypse or not. Because my bet would probably be on military people. You know? Because, as I say, I think physical fitness is a very... Oh, we didn't change our wardrobe. No. I think physical fitness is a very, very key part to being able to survive in these apocalyptic scenarios. And I suppose military, also for training, can be quite grueling, that sort of thing. You need a lot of mental fortitude. Oh, we don't need to go inside again. I've got able sisters. We can just change outside there. And presumably you got a lot of hardiness if you're in the army in the first place to be able to survive these sort of scenarios. You're probably used to, well, weaponry, I suppose. And you can also... You've probably got good survival skills. And good cooperation and teamwork, right? Something like that. I mean, that's probably not a very controversial thing. That's probably why the army always survives in these sort of scenarios, I suppose. It's always like, how do you survive as an average civilian? You know, you've got to get in contact with the army. And you might be like, does this happen very often? 60 seconds? How about this war of mine? I think... I have that game, but I've never actually played it. What about... There's not many games where you just play as a civilian. I mean, really, any of your options are like... Oh, I Am Legend, I think? Maybe? I don't really remember it because I didn't really watch it properly. I mean, your only options are to make a sort of survivor base with other survivors. I mean, that's a very obvious sentence. Or get rescued, I suppose, by a military and then, like, a military encampment. What? Don't do it. Perfect. So, yeah, I'm trying to think how these apocalypse things get resolved in other, like, media properties. I guess in A Quiet Place, they kind of just fight it, right? I don't even know if a military exists in A Quiet Place. Again, I didn't think bandits exist, but they do. Certainly. So who knows? It'd be a good thing to learn how to fish, to be honest. You would have thought it'd be quite a useful ability. Anything to get us any sort of source of food. Like, but there's this thing in the UK. Wait, I think it's probably in the US as well. Scouts and like guides, or like brownies and what's the younger boys club called? I can't remember. Basically, you sort of do like survival things. Oh, now I think about it, it's definitely a thing in the US, except for I just can't remember what it's called. Is it called Scouts as well? That doesn't sound right. You know, things where you get badges for like learning survival sort of things. Never participated in one of those. Probably would have been a good sort of like life experience. Even if I maybe don't remember exactly every single detail in it, but like maybe I won't remember exactly how to light a fire. Maybe I won't remember every single knot they teach me and that sort of thing. But it would still at least be somewhat useful to have like an advantage, to have sort of an awareness about that sort of thing. Like what sort of berries can you eat in the wild? Don't eat red berries is probably as far as my knowledge goes. Not because every red berry is bad, but because there's a high number of bad red berries, isn't it? You can eat insects, I guess. I can kind of shoot a bow and arrow. I don't know how to make a bow and arrow though, so it's gonna be difficult. Had to just like go to an archery range or something. Pick one up. Either way, I don't think I could shoot like a rabbit or something. Just like Katniss Everdeen style. Could I make a trap? A snare? Nope. And I'd be useless in an apocalypse. Sort of dawning on me. So let's hope that doesn't really happen anytime soon. Wait a second. Too soon? Nah, this isn't the apocalypse, hopefully. Not yet, at least. Maybe like, watch your space. Hopefully this ages like wine instead of milk. Oh, hello. And that's why breakfast is better for dinner than it is for breakfast. But isn't breakfast still breakfast no matter what you're eating? And the same for dinner? You could have baked ziti in the morning and it still counts as your breakfast. Just like if you had pancakes for dinner, it'd still be dinner. I'm on Lily's side here. No, it doesn't work like that. Pancakes are always breakfast, no matter when you eat them. Especially when you eat them for dinner. Wait, now I'm confused. It's okay, Raymond. Try not to worry your pretty little head about it too much. That's a bit patronising, Lily. Didn't expect that sort of sass from you. I am doomed. If an apocalypse ever happens. Another pause. Sadly, this needs to be an edited pause, which means I had to re-render this video. Oh well, you know what happens. Plus, I'm not using Adobe anymore. I'm weaning myself off Adobe products, I suppose. I'm using DaVinci Resolve. Hopefully there's no graphical glitch. Come on, fish. Let's dance. Come on. There we go. I don't really have any more to say, to be honest. This video has way too many pauses in. What am I even meant to do at this point? Stitch together 3 different videos? Are you kidding me? Nah, it's fine, don't worry. Probably, unless it renders weirdly. I had this, like, because the Dallas print was rendered using DaVinci Resolve. What can we do these last 2 minutes? Talk to people and customize, I guess. For some reason there's some like weird artifacts or something on the video. I have no clue why they're there. I'm not sure what caused them. I rendered the video like 3 times and it still happened. So I guess maybe it's a shortcoming on my computer. Perhaps it's not quite powerful enough, or perhaps I got the wrong settings and that sort of thing. Well, like, you know, as long as it doesn't audio or audio-ly, or doesn't sound. Hold on. What's this word I want? Audio related. It's not already. That's speaking. Already? No, it is already, but with AUR instead of OR. Because for some reason, English just like that, eh? Yeah, let's wrap this episode up here. Just trying to think if we could do any of those missions. We can do those missions, but there's not really much point. Basically, all I really thought about today is how I'm going to be really bad in a zombie apocalypse or any sort of apocalypse. So much for that. Perhaps I should learn survival skills or something. Anyway, if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscriptions, shares are greatly appreciated. Join me on Dear Darling Discord. Follow me on Twitter down below. Hope to see each other again. But for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye bye for now. And I got a video to render. Woo!